There are very few times where I've seen a movie where the hype around it is as good as the movie itself, but boy, oh boy, did Hereditary live up to the hype. Now, this is a very hard movie to review, seeing as to do a full analysis of what exactly makes this movie so goddamn good. That means I'd have to go into spoilers. So I'm ditching my usual 3-part review structure so I can avoid going too deep in anything that could be considered a spoiler. Because, holy fucking shit, do not let this movie get spoiled for you before you get a chance to see it. Hereditary focuses on the slow unraveling of a family that just can't seem to escape grief and tragedy as mother, Toni Collette's Annie, struggles to balance keeping her family and mind intact while also trying to uncover what exactly draws so much evil into her life in the first place. It initially sets itself up as a straightforward dead relative haunts living relatives for unknown reasons type of movie, but Hereditary managed to be all of that while also unraveling and reversing the structure of the movie that it actually ends up being. It distances itself from the genre that it's a part of by focusing on being a slow burn family drama for a majority of the movie and saving the true horror elements for the latter portion of the film. And even without the horror elements peppered in, this movie is still an upsetting look at how tragedy, grief, and inherited trauma affect people even when the people who are responsible for the initial trauma are long gone. Right out of the gate, Hereditary flips the script on the audience and turns into something so much more sinister and disturbing than expected, not even a full hour into the movie. It leads you on to think that you know what exactly is going to happen based off of age-old tropes in the horror genre, but just when you think you're comfortable enough to predict a jump scare or plot twist, it turns the movie and the audience on its head to give you gut punches of terror. You think you know what's going to happen with the creepy kid just because you saw The Sixth Sense in The Shining? No. Think you can guess why the grandma's put a curse on the family? Good luck with that. And don't even try to think about guessing what the hell is actually going to happen at the end of this movie. I'd rather go toe-to-toe with the Baker family than put myself through the ending of Hereditary ever again. But for as much dense plot and heart-stopping scares that seem too terrifying to pull off even on paper, goddamn does the cast pull this off to infinity and beyond. Audiences and critics alike are already campaigning for Toni Collette to get an Oscar nomination for her outstanding performance as traumatized mother Annie, and she more than deserves it. She takes an already difficult role of a grieving mother trying to keep her life intact and puts up a heart-wrenching and disturbing performance as Annie's mind and body slowly start to unravel as her family's secrets do the same. And Colette is only done up by Millie Shapiro and Alex Wolff, who play Annie's teenage children Charlie and Peter. Shapiro takes the creepy kid role to new heights by turning a usually disturbing and unsympathetic role into a character that no matter how creepy Charlie gets, you still at least want to root for her on a base level. Wolff is another standout in the cast. He holds his own against Colette's stunning performance as he goes through similarly traumatic and emotional arcs as Annie. He does a complete 180 from average pothead teenager trying to make it to graduation so he can finally escape his crazy family to someone so encompassed by fear and a lack of options that, unlike Charlie, you just end up feeling sorry for him in the long run. And as far as emotions go, good lord does this movie have a lot of them. Closest thing I can think to compare Hereditary to is a Pixar movie, and I'm not saying that as a joke. This movie takes its characters and audience on a whirlwind of emotions, but it's not the cheery kind of sadness like in Coco or Inside Out, where you get to the end and everything's fine. It's, the exact opposite of that, because this is a batshit crazy horror movie. Upsetting is a word that I've seen come up in a lot of initial reactions and reviews to this movie, and that's honestly the best way to describe the emotional effect Hereditary has on its audience. The emotional roller coaster that takes you on for 2 hours only to leave you on a blood-curdling 20-minute finale with enough questions to fill an SAT book is enough to make anyone leave the theater feeling uneasy and wanting to revert back to some sort of religion just to feel safe for the night. Watching the trauma, both physical and emotional, that the Graham family goes through with seemingly no end or answers left me with a pit in my stomach that didn't go away for 2 whole days after I'd seen the movie. The emotional terror is doubled down on when you realize that a majority of the characters are never going to learn just why the horrible things that happened to them did, even though the audience can at least put together some sort of answer after the 2-hour runtime. Watching characters run around clueless as to what's happening while you want to yell at them and to just talk to somebody to figure it all out. It's that classic horror movie madness and anxiety of knowing what's going on as an audience member while being forced to watch the characters walk right into the next trap. But even when you know the character's about to walk to their doom, it takes another turn and leaves another terrifying memory for your brain to scoop up for some paranoid thoughts in the middle of the night. This movie will upset and unsettle you in deeply emotional ways as it unravels its characters with brain-bending plot reveals in the last 20 minutes of scares that made 2017's It look like a Disney movie. And yeah, that's about all I can really say on this movie without getting too deep into spoilers or having to scare the shit out of myself again trying to think of plot points because it's the middle of the afternoon and it's raining outside and I'm by myself and I don't really want to have to make it hard for me to go to sleep again tonight. Hereditary isn't for the faint of heart, and I would only recommend this to die-hard horror fans or people who hate themselves, but it's a good thing that I'm a good combination of both.